says, travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness. And many of our people need it sorely on these accounts. And
A
I
lot of
believe
times it
that's
is
true.
about making money so you can have material things. But there's something to be said for all the memories that are being made and all the experiences that really, I think, matter more to me now than anything that we own material wise.
Yeah.
And that's a lesson that I think was hard for me to
Hey
realize.
there, gang. It's Jim.
And Christy.
Jacobus with Your Marriage Matters podcast, episode number 187. Also, YouTube episode number 187. And we're gonna depart from the norm a little bit here today, in that we just got back from a long trip, and I mean, we had a great time. And this is not so specifically marriage oriented, but it is. I think it is. I mean, whether you're married or not, I think this is going to be a good episode for you. So, you want to tell everybody a little bit about what we just wrapped up?
Well, we just were able to go on a 25-day Heart of Texas tour through our home state.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And I want to say something to what you said, that this isn't marriage related, because I read something yesterday that I thought, this is why we get married. We want somebody to witness our life. We don't want our lives to go unnoticed. And I think a lot of times when you go on adventures like this, especially when you share this with your partner, not only do you have shared memories that you can reflect back on, but also you can witness things together and you can be a part of something together that is, makes the fabric of our lives more important and more special. So I do think it is marriage related. But
Yeah, I agree with that. And gang, just a little bit of a backstory here. Last year at the Grand Design National Rally, we ran into some wonderful people, John and Carol Herr, who were with Fantasy RV Tours. And it was kind of an interesting deal in that I saw them at the show. I didn't see them with Christy. Christy saw them. Christy and I talked about it later on, and we decided we were going to look into it. And we ran into them in a show RV and sat and talked. They work for a company called Fantasy RV Tours. They organize tours of the state of Texas, but of literally all over the world.
mhm.
But from the standpoint of the U.S. travels, they organize trips to Grand Canyon, rallies to things like Rose Bowl Parade and the Balloon Fiesta in Albuquerque, New Mexico. But they organize trips to places like the Canadian Maritimes, Alaska. Baby, I mean, these guys, this is an incredible thing that they do.
Mhm.
And we kind of got interested in being a part of the organization of the company.
Mhm.
So one of the things that we did is we went to training in Las Vegas a couple months ago to be what they call an ambassador, people that lead these tours. And then part of the responsibility is to go on a tour so that you can see what it's all about. And we picked the Heart of Texas tour, Bay, because it was convenient, it was close by.
Mhm.
Every place that we went, we've been before. But that said, we learned some important things about our state. And that's actually what we want to share today. It's something we've been sharing for a while now, but being on a tour of the state of Texas reminded us that we should share these things. So
Right.
that's kind of how we got to this particular podcast today. And babe, I agree with you. This is very much marriage related, but it's not some of the hardcore stuff we've been doing over the last month and a half. So
Right. And I think this is a perfect opportunity for people to look within their marriage, within their relationships, and say, okay, what matters to us? What
yep,
would we like to go out and adventure and experience? Maybe for them, it's not travel. For us, obviously, we do like to travel. And we do want to go with the motto, travel as much as you can, see as much as you can while you can.
yeah,
So, but I guess the challenge becomes for everybody out there, what is it that you want to do together that's going to add to the joy within your marriage? Because, yeah, sometimes we do talk too much or focus too much time on the negative things or the things we need to work on. And this is an opportunity to work on things that can be more enjoyable.
yeah,
So,
for sure. And again, we learned some valuable stuff from this. That's the title of our episode today is Three Life Lessons, quote, from the road.
mhm,
And gang, understand, we've been all over the country. We've been thousands and thousands and thousands of miles. But this recent trip really kind of decided, hey, I told Chrissy yesterday, why don't we do the things that we teach people about travel and do that as an episode? She goes, let's do it. So here we
Mhm.
go. Life lesson number one from the road is, um, oh, on the road again. I'm sorry. That's just the slide that we were supposed to be talking over right now. Anyway. All right. So life lesson number one, no matter where you go, it's beautiful. It
Mhm.
is beautiful. And this is a picture of the Northeast during the fall. And babe, we had the privilege of going up to Maine a couple of years ago, about time when this kind of foliage would be out. And it is absolutely gorgeous. But I mean, we've driven through the, not through, but by the cornfields of Nebraska and through the plains of Kansas. We've been everywhere. And reality is, I don't care where we're at. It's beautiful. One of the things I love about you is that you see beauty no matter what. I appreciate that about you.
Well, and, going back to our recent trip, Texas is a
Yeah.
beautiful state, and we were so, um happy to share some of the beauty with the people on our trip who weren't from Texas, and this might have been their first opportunity to see our state. The bluebonnets
Oh,
and the Indian paintbrushes and all the wildflowers along the road were just gorgeous. So the natural beauty was there, but we're really lucky in our state in that it's got diverse beauty. I mean, we were up in the hill country and we were on the coast, and there's just beauty around us
yeah.
that we a lot of times have to search for. And I think sometimes when you're used to seeing that, it goes to what they call goes to ground. We don't pay attention to it anymore. But it was so awesome to see our state so pretty,
Yeah.
and to share that with other people. And yes, no matter where you go, America is beautiful, and I do want to encourage people to go out and see the natural beauty of our country. But not only that, there's a lot of things that were man-made beauties that we saw. We got to do a behind the scenes tour of Cowboy Stadium, and while I'm not currently as much a Cowboy fan as I am a Texans fan, it was so neat to
Yeah.
see that beauty. And of course, that is man-made, but there were some other things along the way that were, fascinating things to see that weren't just the natural beauty. Behind the scenes at NASA
Oh,
was, awesome. All the museums that we saw, a lot of beauty within.
yeah, and gang. So this particular tour, I'll just give you the thumbnail sketch of where all we went. We started off at a campground in Grapevine, Texas, was absolutely gorgeous, called the Vineyards, and from there we went to the Stockyards in Fort Worth. We went to Jerry World. We did all kinds of stuff in Dallas Fort Worth. From there we went to Waco, where we saw the Dr. Pepper Museum, and of course we had to go see the silos and all those kinds of things. From
Texas
there,
Ranger Museum.
Texas Ranger Museum. From there, College Station, where we did a number of things. College Station to Galveston, Galveston to Port A to Fredericksburg, Fredericksburg to Austin, Austin to Bandera. Did I get that right, babe?
That's out in Bandera de San Antonio. We ended in San Antonio.
Bandera, San Antonio. I think it was. I take it back. I think we went Galveston to Austin, Austin to Fredericksburg, Fredericksburg to Bandera, Bandera to San Antonio. And the reason I say that is we've been to all those cities, but you've got big cities that had amazing stuff to see. But babe, I enjoyed Bandera. I enjoyed the Dude Ranch we went on. I enjoyed, San Antonio and going to the missions for the first time. As many times as we've been to San Antonio, I've never been to the missions.
Mhm.
The Butterfly Museum in Houston. I mean, just all these things that even though we lived in Texas, even though we lived in Houston, even though we've been to San Antonio and Austin and fill in the blank, I'd never done any of those things. So the point is, no matter where you go, this is an amazing country.
Mhm.
And you don't even have to go far. You don't have to travel to Maine to see a picture like this.
Right.
You don't have to travel to Grand Canyon. You don't. We encourage you to. All
Mhm.
right. But that's the point is you don't have to go anywhere to see amazing things. I
Mhm.
guarantee you there's something right there in your backyard amazing to see. And we're just trying to encourage you to, as a couple, uh, you know, be adventurous. Go and see this country of ours. See what you can because it is incredible.
And speaking of backyards, we were in Port A and
Yeah,
we saw a lot of things. And I told Jim, why don't we come here more often?
exactly.
Port A, Port Aransas, for those of you who aren't from Texas or aren't from this region, Port A is an island not very far from where our home is. And we just had a great time there. Got to see some things that we didn't even know existed there. So, once again, as Jim just said, we're going to challenge you to go out and see things that you don't have to spend a long time getting to. See things that are readily available.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, first thing is lesson number one, life lesson number one, no matter where you go, it's an amazing country we live in. Second thing is no matter where you go, there are amazing people everywhere. And,
Mhm.
babe, in this day and time where we see so much on the news and on social media, where this group doesn't like that group and this group hates that person or hates that person, the left versus the right and all of that. I know that exists. I know that we have differences, but that's not been our experience traveling. Everywhere we go, matter of fact, on this trip, there were 23 RVs and 2 leader RVs, our wagon master and our tail gunner. And so there were a total of 25 rigs, 50 people. And babe, I don't think there was an argument about religion or politics or left versus right or woke or non-woke. There wasn't a discussion or an argument or disagreement about that the entire time because they're just good people. And I think that's been our experience everywhere we've gone. We've not run into what I think the media portrays this country to be, which is a whole bunch of people that are at odds with each other. That's not been our experience.
Right. Right. And I think one of the things that we see is sometimes when you go out and experience, different things together, you have a shared bond and a shared commonality that draws you to them and you want to learn about them. You want to learn about, what is it like to live in California? What is it like to be from New York or Arizona or Florida? And I think the fact that wherever you go, you can learn about what it's like to experience life through their eyes. I think it adds once again to the depth of who you are as a person, who you are as a couple. So,
Yep.
one of the things I wanted to point out that we failed to mention that was a very big deal when we were on this trip is we got to be in Georgetown, which is just north of Austin, on April the 8th to experience the total eclipse.
Yeah.
They called it the total eclipse of the heart of Texas. And it was an amazing morning for a lot of reasons. The forecast for weeks had predicted it was going to be cloudy, it might rain, it wasn't going to be a crystal blue sky or anything like that. So we're all sitting outside after we had some lunch. We were sitting outside waiting for this, and you could start to see it. You could start to see the moon taking over the sun, and by looking up in your glasses. And then it was a little cloudy and there were periods when we couldn't see it, but when the eclipse did occur, when the moon totally covered the sun, the clouds were gone and we got such a beautiful view of this. It was awe-inspiring. I heard people say how it made them emotional to see this once in a lifetime phenomena, or maybe once in a lifetime phenomena, and be a part of that. So it was neat to experience that with different people and share that common experience.
Well, yeah. And you were sitting next to me and you heard me gasp. I was blown away. I was taken back by how amazing it was. I told you, I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't that. It was just awe inspiring. And so
Mhm.
this is part of our group here, and they're all holding up moon pies. The folks on the left, that's Dan and Nancy Bauer. They were our leaders on this particular trip. And Dan shared a quote, babe, at our final dinner that I wanted to share with everybody that I think is so true. And it's from Mark Twain. It says, Travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow mindedness. And many of our people need it sorely on these accounts. And I believe that's true. I believe because we're out and about and we're meeting so many people from all over the place, and we have this common bond of RVing and camping, that it tends to put all of those things to the background because we have this common bond and we all love the outdoors and we're all love travel. I think, as it says, it gets rid of those things that are, bigotry and narrow-mindedness,
Hmm.
and it puts us all in a like-mindedness. So
Hmm.
anyway, no matter where you go, people are amazing. Not
Hmm.
not you're going to meet amazing people, which you are, but no matter where you go, everywhere we've been, people are amazing, and we've been in parts of the country that some people might think, why would you go there? Well, because it's beautiful and because there's great people there. So um, this last lesson, babe, it really has been sinking in with me for a while, but I think this one's beginning to sink in on you, really,
Hmm.
more so than it has in the past, and that is that there's never going to be enough time.
Hmm.
Life lesson number 3 is there will never be enough time.
Hmm.
And my goodness, I wish I'd have learned this 30 years ago, 40
Right.
years, 50 years ago, whatever. I wish
Right.
I'd realized that there's a limited amount of time to see as much as we can and to meet as many people as we can, and get out there. So I just am very aware of the fact that our time is limited, and I know that's beginning to weigh on you a little bit.
Hmm. Well, I don't mean to contradict you, but you've said we've been everywhere. I don't, I think there are so many places yet to see, so many things I want to do. And I think one of the things that becomes obvious is the more you travel, the more you realize there is so much to see and
Yeah,
do.
exactly.
And yes, we've been fortunate to be a lot of places. We've both been to all 50 states. But when you go there to really immerse yourself in that area, that region, uh, that community takes some time, and there will never be enough time to do all the things we want to see and we want to do and we want to experience. So, once again, that challenge is going to be to take the time to really focus on what matters to you and what the priorities are.
Yeah, and you're right. And thanks for pointing that out. We that's let me put it different. We've been a lot of places, but you're right. The more places we go, the more we're going. Oh, we need to go see that, or we didn't see enough there.
Hmm.
I don't. We could stay fill in the blank for a week and not even begin to touch the surface, which is
Right.
again what we're talking about back in life lesson number 1 is that no matter where you go, this place is amazing. This country's incredible. Even if you go to Bend, Texas, you can spend a week and never do everything there. So, but there actually will never be enough time. And I think when we're younger, it's like, okay, no big deal. We've got lots of time and we're all wrapped up in, work and kids and fill in the blank. And if you're out there and you're in that phase, I get it. We didn't think about it, but man, babe, I wish I'd have made better use of our time from the very beginning.
Hmm.
I wouldn't trade where we are right now. And yeah, I'm just really becoming aware at 71 years old. I don't want to shock any of you. I know that that doesn't seem possible that I'm that old, but I am. I obviously closer to the end than I was to the beginning, even of our marriage. But I want to get as much done as I can, and I want to take advantage of it. And so I'm becoming very protective of our time. I'm becoming very focused on getting things done. And that's what we're trying to say, gang, is that a sense of urgency. Babe, I don't think it's ever too early to create a sense of urgency about life. Do you?
Right. I agree with you totally because I was thinking about, what we spend our lives doing. We have to work, we have a purpose for our lives. And a lot of times it is about making money so you can have material things. But there's something to be said for all the memories that are being made and all the experiences that really I think matter more to me now than anything that we own material wise.
Yeah.
And that's a lesson that I think was hard for me to realize is that yes, I love shopping, I love having things that are pretty, but even this on this trip, there were times when I wanted to buy things that would remind me of the trip,
Yeah.
like, different things that I'll say, "Oh, this would be so cool." And then I had to say, what's going to really remind me of this trip is seeing the pictures and, just thinking again about all the fun times that we had. So,
Yeah, baby, it dawned on me. I have this book here, Texas Landmark Cafes, that we
mhm.
bought when we were in Bandera. All right. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. Yeah, that's not pretty good. That's a pretty good picture of that. Texas Landmark Cafes. All right. And it lists places like Royer's Cafe in Round Top, Mary's Cafe, Allen's in Sweetwater, A lot of these we've been to, but I mean, you can make a quest out of this. I mean, you can simply take this. There was one Texas landmarks. There's all kinds of things that you could use to drive your activities. But again, gang, we're just trying to create um, a sense of urgency for you and your marriage and your relationship. That God's got all kinds of amazing things for you to see and do out there. God's got all kinds of amazing people, and so maybe that kind of leaves us to the wrap up slide here. So see as much as you can, meet as many people as possible, and do it now.
Mm-hmm.
And again, see as many people see as much as you can. All right, meet as many people as possible for you, and do it now. So, babe, which one of those is of most interest to you? Seeing as much as you can, or meeting as many people?
Um, Both of those are so important because I think when you get to meet other people, you experience the place that you're in with some. I think that helps.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say meet as many people as you can.
Okay.
So, but it's
Well, I was getting ready to ask
uh,
you. So, gang, one of the things about Fantasy RV Tours, like we said, they do tours all over the place. They do rallies everywhere at major events like Balloon Fiesta, Rose Bowl Parade. But, babe, we just went through some of the tours that they do on the eastern half of the country. Things like the Mississippi River Tour, the tour that we're going to be tailgunning on in September. Our first tour is the Music, Bourbon, and Moonshine Tour in Tennessee and Kentucky, which we've been to before. But looking at that itinerary, there were so many places on there we haven't even been yet.
yeah,
So the let's see here, the Florida to DC tour. I mean,
Florida, Maine.
the main tour, the fall foliage tour. So, what's more important, seeing people or some of those bucket list trips?
That's hard decision, hard decision. But
Yeah.
I I think try and do them both. There you go. Compromise.
But the whole idea is do it now. So, gang, here's a little bit of homework for you. All right. Find a place for you. Okay. Now, again, if you're 35 years old, you got three kids, and all of them are playing soccer and softball and fill in the blank, and you're both busy working and you're doing all that kind of thing, you may not be able to go a lot of places. All right. But I guarantee you there is somewhere close by that you can go see that you've never seen before. Babe, you know what just popped into my mind?
What's that?
How many years did it take for us uh, find and explore Brazos Bend State Park?
Right. Right.
We lived
Uh,
for 30 years within 20 minutes of Brazos Bend State Park and never went out there. If
mhm.
there's a state park near you, you can go out there, and I guarantee you're going to have a great experience. Do a picnic or a camp out or something like that. So that's your homework. Sit down as a couple and say, where is somewhere that we want to go that we've not been? That may be something big. It may be going to the Grand Canyon. It may be going to Yellowstone. Good gosh. We're going back up to Yellowstone here in a couple of months. We're going to go to Glacier. We're going to Washington. Yeah, we're blessed to do that. If you can go do those things, but figure out where's one place you can go and go do it. Go experience it. Go enjoy it together, and then pick another, and then pick another, and then also where's somewhere you can go or something you can do where you can meet some of these amazing people. Is it at church? Babe, we've met some unbelievable people here at Grace Point Church in Portland, Texas, because we got involved in it. We've met people on these RV tours. We've met people through pickleball. All right, through gameplay and here at the RV park. People are incredible. So find a way that you can meet more people. And like I said, do it now. Do it now. Do not let another minute go because we're not guaranteed any of that time. So, babe, as we wrap this one up, you know what? I'm looking back now, and you're right. This is very much a marriage podcast. This is very much a marriage lesson. What do you want to leave everybody with before we get out of here today?
Well, I think you just said it. Make something happen. Don't talk about, when I get here, we'll do this. Do it now. Live in the present and experience something. And maybe you have to plan for it. I don't mean you have to drop everything and do it today, but we want to encourage you to find something that's going to um, encourage you to find something that's going to strengthen your adventures together. And it doesn't have to be our adventures. Maybe you want to see the best barbecue in Texas. Maybe you want to see something that matters to you guys. Maybe it's birding or something of other interest. So we're just going to challenge you to do that now. And one thing I want to tell you is, yes, we say meet a lot of people, and I am so excited and so blessed that we get to do these things together. And I'm so glad that I get to be a witness to your life. So I love you and thank you.
Oh, babe, you're so sweet. I appreciate that. Yeah. Um, we get to share all of this together and makes it twice as good because we do. So I appreciate your always being willing to be so adventurous and everything. So, gang, first thing is, if you want to learn more about what we're doing and catch up with all kinds of other stuff, join us on our Facebook group at Your Marriage Matters. Like, subscribe, and share this podcast. Go over and join our YouTube channel. Go over there and subscribe to it and watch some of our videos. And do us a favor, share those with other people so they can find us as well. And then if you're looking for this, all the show notes to this, you can find it on yourmarriagematters.com/187. So we appreciate you. Thanks so much for joining us. We love you. One, no matter where you go, it's beautiful. Two, no matter where you go, there's amazing people. And three is there's never going to be enough time. So get out there, see as much as you can, meet as many people as you can, and do it now. Love you, gang. Appreciate you. Remember, your marriage matters to us. Hope you have a great week. We'll catch you next week. Bye now.
Happy trails.
Happy trails.